Have you ever been burned in your dating life, and so you decided that you would never again do it, and so you totally flipped the way that you act, in response to this thing that happened to you? Watch this video. I'm going to tell you about how this can be hurting you as well. So let's take the situation of a nice guy, for example. A guy that saw a bunch of movies where the guy should play music outside the girl's window, how he should chase her around and throw his jacket on the puddle of water so the girl can step over it. This guy was scared to lose rapport with the girl, would validate anything he said, anything she said, right? And not really be a challenge to that woman whatsoever. And as a result, would get continuously rejected time after time. So after a certain amount of time, a guy like this is gonna say, you know what? This isn't working. This sucks. I see all these other guys that treat women like shit or whatever, and they get a lot more attention than I do. So guess what? You know what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna turn into an asshole. So they were on the nice guy end of the spectrum, and they pendulum swing all the way to the exact opposite end. They're like, I'm an asshole now. And it gets them into trouble because now they're being too short in their texting, for example, and they're just barely putting any effort. They're being cold to women and coming off as butthurt in many cases. And this doesn't help them at all either. And while it is interesting that these kind of guys would actually still get more attention than the nice guy because they at least appear to have a level of strength, at the end of the day, the only type of women that are attracted to the asshole type are women that are broken and starved for validation and are willing to tolerate this kind of thing, and they have super low self-esteem. And guess what? When some other guy comes along that's newer, they're gonna jump ship to him, okay, because they're broken. So this is very common in the dating world where you start off on one end of the spectrum, you over-calibrate to the other one, okay, and you just pendulum swing way too far. This is very common in many areas of life. For example, take the young guy who's a skinny beanpole type kid who wants to get into lifting weights, so he works out like 6 days a week, 2 hours at a time, doesn't focus on nutrition, he just overtrains and ends up burning himself out because he was going too hard at it. So when it comes to dating, you have to calibrate to a healthy place in between the both poles. You don't want to do too much, and you also don't want to do too little, okay? And if you allow yourself to kind of be in this middle space, that healthy space, okay, it requires some self-worth to understand that you can be that guy in the middle, okay? You don't have to go way crazy with the asshole thing, but you definitely don't want to do too much either. You allow for that to set in, and you'll see with some patience that it actually works much better. It's much more healthy, and you'll attract healthier women. And all of this boils down to this idea that you are worth it, that you are entitled to date beautiful women. And they may not respond in the exact window that you want, but that's okay. You take your patience with it. Follow me for more dating advice.